And welcome back inside the friendly confines here at Phil Welch Stadium. A little bit of technical difficulties on our end, but we are back here for game number 2 between the St. Joseph Mustangs and the Kansas City Monarchs. What a game here. It's Friday night, it's Tenderloin night, it's Noah Cameron night here at Phil Welch Stadium, and a nice crowd like me and Truman were just talking about before the technical difficulties had arisen. But I'm Jackson Phelps for play-by-play. Joined next to me, Truman Griessel. And Truman, we were just talking about it, an 11-0 win for the Mustangs on Wednesday against the Northeast Missouri Naturals on an impressive outing from Aaron Harrington, going 4 innings, only allowing 5 hits on 9 strikeouts, no earned runs. And Truman, what a game one that we got to witness.
Yeah, you know, you never want to overreact to a first game of a fresh season, but Wednesday, really gave us a glimpse into what this 2025 Mustangs team will have to offer. A nice mix of returning players, but also new guys, and really they dominated in all 3 phases of the game. They were great on the mound. They struck out 19 batters as a team, and then at the plate, you know, they only tallied 5 hits, but they were very disciplined. They worked a lot of walks, worked counts, and then they stole a lot of bases. They when they had the opportunity to take that extra 90 feet, they took it, and that helped them build a big 11-0 lead.
It was a great win, like you mentioned. 19 strikeouts. I mean, the poise and the type of leadership you're going to have with that pitching staff, it's impressive to see 19 strikeouts on game 1. We're going to take away player of the game from that game. Jack Mosh went 1 for 1 with 2 runs. He got walked twice, 2 stolen bases. As to mention, you were talking about the stolen bases. Jack Mosh did a good job putting himself in the spot to get those 2 runs. He really led this team, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, making some nice plays at shortstop that night. And Truman, when you look at a guy like Jack Mosh, a D1 player coming to St. Joe, his first year, making such a big impact on game 1, how can that affect the team going forward here for the rest of the year with a guy like Jack Mosh?
I mean, again, talking Jack Mosh, a newcomer, first year with the Mustangs, coming from the University of Minnesota, but for him to just step in immediately and have that kind of game, it sets the bar for not only him going for the rest of the season to just continue to build, but for the rest of this team, really seeing how much it means and how much guys want to win, and just that strive that this team has to, again, repeat as Mink League champs and get to that 10 Mink League championship.
Oh, that's to mention the championship and the level of, you know, competitiveness that this team plays. The Kansas City Monarchs, and not the Kansas City Monarchs, the Monarchs out of the Kansas City Amateur Baseball Association. A little bit of words there, but they were last year's KCABA champions in 2024, and then an 8-year streak between 2016 and 2023. So another team with a lot of hardware coming into St. Joe, testing the Mustangs, saying we're here to play some ball. And this team definitely looks, with some of these players on this roster, Truman, definitely could give these Mustangs a problem tonight.
Yeah, this team definitely an older team in terms of if you're looking at college summary, but a well-versed team, out to a 13-3 start to start this year. But they've also, much like the Mustangs, they've done everything well. They can hit the ball, and then they can also pitch. They'll give the Mustangs a definite challenge tonight, and especially, you know, the Mustangs, it'll be kind of maybe a wake-up call really early in the season, especially, you know, maybe trying not to look towards tomorrow night with your Mink League opener against the Nevada Griffins, but staying locked in tonight. But this should be a fun, exciting matchup. A lot of fun, exciting guys in that third base dugout that will definitely challenge a lot of these Tenderloin players tonight.
Exactly. We'll get into some of those names later on. But yet another test for the Mustangs as another non-league game coming into St. Joe, getting them ready for tomorrow's Mink League opener. But we'll have more on that here. You're watching Mustangs pregame and Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back to Phil Welch Stadium. Once again, I'm Jackson Phelps. Joined next to me is Truman Griessel. And Truman, what a special night. Not only is it Tenderloin night, but it is Noah Cameron night here for the Tenderloins, a St. Joe raised kid. They have the family out on the center field, and they are watching some videos and highlights of Noah Cameron's, looks like it's highlights of his high school career. Looks like there he is. He's talking about what he means to be a Royal and from St. Joe. And Truman, what a special story we get to be able to witness tonight.
Yeah, the homegrown kid, unfortunately never suited up for the Mustangs, but it's still great to see this community rally around a guy and just support a guy as he continues to build on his professional career and really start to blossom for the Royals. And, as a Royals fan myself, I hope he gets to stick around. But it's just really great to see, and especially that, here the Mustangs honoring him. First 100 kids got a pair of Noah Cameron goggles as they walked in the gates. And it's a really cool thing to see, just this tight-knit community up in St. Joe.
It really is. You'd love to see a whole community, like you said, rally around a kid who's new into the league, who is posting up some impressive numbers. You just love to see your hometown have your back like this. Looking out into the field here at Phil Welch, we can see many Noah Cameron jerseys and some kids with those glasses. For Noah Cameron's family being here tonight, I bet this is so special, and I know this means a lot to them being back home. Right now, he is at Kauffman Stadium getting ready to face off, not starting tonight, but the team is ready to face off the Tigers tonight. But Noah Cameron is suited out in Royals gear, but that's not stopping St. Joseph for coming out to support their guy.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have some fun during the broadcast. Got some Noah Cameron trivia for all those listeners there at home. Play along with that, but it's just a great thing to just be able to be a part of and get to experience.
That's right. Like he mentioned, Noah Cameron Trivia Night is going to be tonight. We'll have 2 questions throughout the game, so be ready for that in the chat. And for everyone who's watching, just be ready to put your brains to the St. Joe kid who we are going to be honoring tonight. But getting away with these first pitch festivities, we'll have National Anthem and the first pitch coming up here on the Mustangs YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium for our pre-game festivities as they continue, both managers meeting with the umpires at home plate to give the lineup cards, and we are just moments away from first pitch here in game number 2 for the St. Joseph Tenderloins, as we have a nice fans that have came out here to Phil Welch. They filled the Welch like they say it all the time. And Truman, some of these Monarchs we've been talking about, and like Steve D'Amico, who's going to be the starting pitcher tonight, he has put up some impressive numbers this year.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him more when he finally gets to take the mound for just a few short moments, like you said, away. But he's definitely, if this Monarchs team, if you had to classify an ace, that is Steve D'Amico. Leads them in innings pitched, leads them in strikeouts. ERA is sub-2. I mean, this guy is going to throw it, and he's going to throw it well and effectively. And the Tenderloin bats, they're going to have to be ready to hit. They're probably not going to work as many walks as they were lucky to work on Wednesday. So they're going to have to be ready to hit some balls in the gaps, move guys over, play a little small ball, and then wait for that big hit.
That's right, and like Steve D'Amico, some could compare him to a two-way player. This year, he has posted a .276 average on, looking at this, with 8 hits. He has 6 RBIs. Steve D'Amico, 1 RBI, but 8 hits on 29 appearances, a .276 average. Steve D'Amico really does it both ways, and that's most of these guys here on this Monarchs team. You've said they're a little bit older than the Mustangs roster, the Tenderloins roster. These guys a little bit more of experience, playing some more baseball games than they have this season. They've hosted a really good record, like you mentioned, at 13-3. So the Mustangs have it cut out for them. They, like you said, they're going to have to play the game the smart way like they did 2 nights ago. They're definitely going to have to rely on getting runners on base and scoring them effectively. Just playing the game smart, because with guys like this who are a little bit older, they definitely know those smart ways to play the game.
Yeah, and talking more about this Monarchs team, this is a Monarchs team that's beaten the Savannah Bananas twice. So not only are they very good at baseball, they are also very good at banana ball. They beat the Savannah Bananas a couple times. So again, like we said in the open, but it should be a fun matchup. And we'll talk more, but Sam Pitt's on the mound for the Mustangs, and really you could classify, looking at the stats from last year coming in this year, he is really the Mustangs' more or less ace. He's the guy who led them in innings and returning. He threw a perfect game last year against the Nevada Griffins, and he is just really the dominant guy who, again, he's going to have to throw strikes. Let his defense work behind him, but just throw strikes, work his game. Don't try to get too cute, Yep. And again, start off with those fastballs and then work in the breaking stuff. That allows you to then pitch backwards to guys and really first pitch breaking ball and then really start pitching.
That's right, Sam Pitts, like you mentioned, definitely going to have to paint those corners, keep these Monarchs guessing. Last year, 11 appearances, 5 games started, a 3-0 record on the season, hoisting a 1.12 ERA. Like you said, the ace for the Mustangs last year. And the Tenderloins tonight, like you mentioned, Truman, both aces on the mound, so we have got the best of both worlds for both of these teams. They got their best out. We're going to have a fun game on our hands. They're mentioning the starting lineups for your St. Joseph Tenderloins. We'll get into starting lineups later on in the game, but we'll take another quick break, allow the national anthem to play for you guys, and we'll have first pitch here in game number 2 on the St. Joseph Tenderloin season. I'm Jackson Phelps. Join next to me, Truman Griessel. We'll be right back from Mustangs Baseball on YouTube.
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the land both we watched will so gallantly streaming, and the rockets like cloud that burns boasting in air gave proof through that night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Harper. What a fantastic job. Awesome. Come back anytime. The St. Joe Mustangs go to Market Nursery to take care of all that landscaping needs. Go get the Justice the women's section on the other side. Check out Horizon.
And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. National anthem was played by Noah Cameron's niece. What a cute little moment that was, Truman. But in for tonight's starting lineup for the Kansas City Monarchs, leading it off, Morgan Johanan. Batting second, Alex Lahoski. Batting third, Gilberto Pena. Batting fourth, Daryl Graham. Batting fifth, Will Dybaugh. Batting sixth, Kyle Ford. Batting seventh, Ty White. Batting eighth, Cam Messenschmidt. And batting ninth, Drew Thornson. So like we were mentioning, this Kansas City Monarchs, they're no sleepers. These guys know how to hit. These guys know how to put the bat onto the ball. So the Mustangs got to be ready on all cylinders defensive-wise tonight. Sam Pitts is going to have to play smart pitching-wise. He's been the ace the last couple of years for the Mustangs. His first start here this season, had 5 starts last year, went 3-0 in his starts. And his record proves that he is this team's ace, and he is the guy that they want on the mound tonight versus the Monarchs.
Yeah, definitely Pitts. He's going to throw strikes, 32 strikes, strikeouts to 8 walks, 7.14 Ks per 9, but he limits batters, 190 batting average to opponents last year. It's going to be really interesting for him. And he's going to, like I said in the open, he's going to just throw strikes, use his fastball to get ahead, and then be able to use that breaking ball to put guys away.
That's right, and we are just seconds away from first pitch, leading it off for the Monarchs. Johan leading it off here for the Monarchs. First pitch on Friday night, Tenderloins night, Noah Cameron night. What a night here. Sam Pitts on the mound for the Tenderloins. First pitch here in game 2 is underway. Ball chopped towards the shortstop side, taken in by Coy. In time at first for the first out of the game. And Chris Coy, the senior in high school out of Benton, with the first out of the day.
And that's talking about, that's what Sam Pitts is going to need to do. Just get ahead. You know, first pitch, in or out, on or out, excuse me, and 3 pitches or less is always a good saying right there. I mean, just getting ahead, get guys to roll over, really ground it into the dirt.
Alex Lahoski batting second for the Monarchs. Quick first out for the Tenderloins. On the outside corner, strike 1 for Sam Pitts. Really controls that fastball well on that outside part of the plate. Batters had to deal with him last year on that. 0-1. Outside part again, strike 2, back-to-back pitches on that outside part. Pitts quickly 0-2 here with 1 out on the Monarchs. Looking to make quick work of Lahoski. The 0-2 pitch. Outside once again, just misses. Ball 1.
That's really the spot you want to work as that lefty-to-lefty batter. That outside part of the play is just so hard to react to as a lefty hitter, because if it's a breaking ball, it looks like it's going to hit you. And then if it's a fastball, you think it's too outside.
Outside once again, just misses. Evens the count up at 2-2 on Alex Lahoske. And like you were mentioning, just trying to keep these Monarchs guessing with those outside pitches. Maybe he'll try to attack inside here. The 2-2 pitch. Swung around. First strikeout of the night for Sam Pitts, and 2 quick outs for the Tenderloins.
That's just one of the things where I think the Monarchs batter was just guessing there a little bit. Lahoske, I think he was maybe sitting breaking ball, and then the fastball surprised him because he was a little late and just tried to check his swing, but he went around anyway. And that's a great start for Pitts. 2 quick outs for the meat of the order is what you want.
Tenderloins 2 quick outs for Sam Pitts. First pitch to Gilberto Pena, down in the dirt on the inside part. Ball 1-0, and Pitts is making a quick inning, like you mentioned, Truman. This is exactly what you want as far as your starter here in the first inning. The 1-0 pitch, just high, 2-0 to Pena. Two outs for the Tenderloins, a quick inning so far. Pena try to keep this line moving for the Monarchs here. On 2-0, up and high for the strike one. Nice find there, just caught the elbow. Counts now 2 balls, 1 strike from Pitts. Inside once again, 3 balls, 1 strike to Pena. Monarchs looking to get their first runner of the inning. Pitts, 3-1 to Pena. Sets and delivers. Ball swung on a deep drive to left field, tails foul. A nice swing by Pena, getting a hold of that inside fastball.
That's where Pitts has been trying to work Pena, that inside corner, try to jam him a little bit, but right there, Pena read it all the way. Got his barrel just a little too out in front. If he can keep that fair, that ball is either going over the wall or off the wall for extra bases.
Counts full at 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitts delivers. Off speed, Pena puts a drive into left field. That one is back, that one is far, that one is gone for Gilberto Pena, and the Monarchs with a quick 2-out home run, and they take the 1-run lead.
Just like, we just mentioned, he was trying to work that inside corner and went with the breaking ball again and again. That time, Pena was able to get the barrel out in front of that pitch and absolutely demolish that one deep into left field.
You were just mentioning that Pitts was just wanting to deliver to that inside part, trying to jam him once again, but Pena read it all the way, sat on the fastball, and took it over the wall near the Silgan sign in left field. And the Monarchs, a 2-out home run here in the first, take a quick 1-run lead. Pitts delivers. Ball slapped over to Coy to short. Fields it in time over to first, and out number 3 from Chris Coy. But the Monarchs don't shy away from getting a run on the board from a Gilberto Pena 2-out home run. Monarchs lead it 1-0. We're going to head to the bottom of the first inning here. You're watching Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. Leading it off for the Tenderloins will be Frank Gall out of Missouri Western. Had an impressive game last night, getting a couple runs and a couple stolen bases. So we'll have to see here for the Tenderloins. Steve D'Amico on the mound for the Monarchs to get strike one on the inside part to Gall. We were just talking about D'Amico, 37 innings pitched this year, only serving a 1.95 ERA, only giving up 12 hits. Fouled straight back off of Gall. Count is now 0-2 on Frank Gall. D'Amico testing this Tenderloins bats early on here in the bottom of the first. The 0-2 pitch swung on, fouled once again. Gall just trying to keep this at bat alive at 0 balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch from D'Amico. Outside part just misses. Ball 1.
This guy you're going to want to keep off base if you're D'Amico. Gall, like you said, has the ability to steal bases, but also just getting that leadoff out can really go a long way.
Gall chops it up the middle, fielded by Graham. Can't field it cleanly, throws it into the dugout, and that'll put Gall at second base on the throwing error. Graham just trying to field it, trying to get it over to first, could not get it to work. And now the Tenderloins with a quick runner in scoring position to open up the first inning.
And that's one if you're Graham, you just want to eat it because you bobbled it the first time. Gall was already safe, but then you just wildly throw it, and that's one you just want to put in your back pocket and keep the double play in order.
Right there probably would have been the smart move to just pocket the ball, like you mentioned, because now Jack Mosh, the player of the game from last night's game, has the opportunity to get a quick RBI here for the Tenderloins. D'Amico's first pitch down and low, taken for strike 1 off of Mosh. Mosh yesterday 1 for 1, 2 runs on 2 walks and 2 stolen bases and a double. So an impressive outing from him out of the University of Minnesota. Mosh puts a slap into left field. That'll be going foul. Quickly, 0 balls, 2 strikes once again. The second batter in a row D'Amico has gotten a hold of quickly at 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Slapped in the left field. That's hanging, and brought in by Dyball in time to second. Oh, just off the bag. It was in time, but trailed Lahosky off the bag at second, and Gall luckily gets back to second base, and the Tenderloins only give up 1 out.
A great read on that by Dryberg. First step, comes in, reads it all the way, gives a little bit of a deke towards Gall. Gall got really far off right there. I mean, he was lucky to get back, but again, that's one where there's nobody out in the inning. It's okay to maybe not take as big of a risk and just move up 90 feet if that ball lands. Gall's lucky to be back at second.
The 0-0 pitch slapped up, brought in by Graham, and it's in time at first. What a play there by Graham at short, getting the second out of the inning for the Monarchs, but that does advance Frank Gall over to third base. Dom Felix up next for the Tenderloins. Felix 1 for 3 yesterday, 2 walks and 2 RBIs as well for him. Felix out of Tucson, Arizona. D'Amico down low and out, taken for strike 1 on Felix. Tenderloins with a good opportunity here to tie this game up at 1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. D'Amico steps off to take another look from his catcher. D'Amico, the 0-1 pitch. Down low, evens the count up at 1 ball, 1 strikes. The 1-1 pitch from D'Amico. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. And that's going to hit Dom Felix up in that upper shoulder, and that'll put runners on the corners for the Tenderloins.
Yeah, that time D'Amico just tried to run too far inside on Felix. Have been working the outer third of the plate, but right there tried to go up and in with the fastball, too far up and in. Hits Felix, not the worst guy to put on, but again, it just extends the inning and creates more pressure.
Justin George up for the Tenderloins. yesterday. Had a nice game, 0 for 2. Put up some solid hits, though, just didn't go his way. We could see a steal here from Felix. They want to try to see if they'll throw down to second. George takes the first pitch outside on the outer half of the plate for strike 1. 0-1, runners on the corners for the Tenderloins. Another opportunity to tie this game up at 1 apiece. D'Amico fires. Ball fouled off straight behind. Quickly 0-2 once again from D'Amico.
Right now, D'Amico's going right after these Tenderloin hitters, and I mean, they've gotten some good swings that have just fouled back. They just need to get their barrel out in front, get their front foot down, really ambush something in the gap and score a run.
D'Amico 0-2, 2 outs. Fires. George puts a slap into right field. Trailing on it is Ty White. Doesn't get the ball, and Gull's going to score from third. Felix is going to be waved around. He's going to be held at third. But a 2-out double from Justin George scores Gull, and we are tied at 1 apiece, and 2 runners in scoring position for the Tenderloins.
That time out in right field, White is kind of just lackadaisically running back on it, thought it maybe was shallower than it was. That ball just kept carrying from George, didn't necessarily get the best barrel on it, but just kept going, and then White, just hit off that heel of his glove, wasn't able to bring it in. That's what I'm saying about the Tenderloins. They just need to ambush something right there. George did and put a nice juice into a ball deep to right.
White was underneath it, couldn't get it to fall, and we are tied at 1 apiece, bringing Chris Coy to the batter's box out of St. Joseph, Missouri. 2 runners in scoring position. D'Amico fires, and Coy swings right away. Fouls that one straight back. 0-1 to the St. Joe kid. D'Amico in a tricky situation here, trying to get himself out of this jam, keep this game tied at 1 apiece. Coy's going to put a nice slap shot into left. That is trailing off the glove of Graham, and that's going to plate Felix. In comes Justin George, and the Tenderloins take a 3-1 lead off of 2 costly defensive errors.
Again, just a similar one. Coy puts a little flare out into left, and once again, Graham doesn't overrun it, just, again, hits off the heel of his glove, doesn't see it all the way in, just kind of bounces out. And just another tough break.
D'Amico, 3 runs now in the first. Checks back on Coy. Nothing doing. Two outs still here in the bottom of the first. D'Amico still trying to work himself out of this tough, sloppy inning. He's going to check back once again to Coy, a little bit high. Messerschmidt able to keep it in the glove and on the ground, keeping Coy at first. Back-to-back checkbacks on Chris Coy.
Coy is a threat to steal, like much of this Mustangs lineup and roster, especially with 2 outs. Seeing how the Monarchs have just been kind of throwing the ball around the infield wouldn't be something to, again, just create some more chaos.
0-0 to Parker Griffith, the Northwest Missouri State man, hanging out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Takes it for strike 1. D'Amico on 0-1. Sets and fires to Griffith. Griffith fouled straight back behind. 0-2. Once again, D'Amico doing a good job going after these Tenderloins pretty quickly in those counts, putting them in a pitcher's count. But D'Amico just needs some help from this defense behind him to get himself out of this inning. D'Amico checks back on Coy. Coy goes. Griffith takes it, and that'll put Coy at second base with an easy stolen base. And that'll be ball 1 on Parker Griffith. Like you mentioned, Truman, these Tenderloins are so good on these base paths, being aggressive all the way through, seeking 90 feet every time they're on the base.
Whenever the opportunity is there to take that extra 90 feet, the Tenderloins are willing to take it.
D'Amico 0-2. Parker Griffith puts a slap into right field. That gets down. Coy rounds third. Parker Griffith stays at first, and Coy in home for the 4th run of the inning for the Tenderloins on a Parker Griffith RBI single.
And again, just another example, not trying to do too much, was Griffith got a pitch outer third of the plate and just put a nice swing, nice little barrel out into right field, and Coy using his speed to easily score.
Jaden Little out of Lincoln University from St. Joseph, Missouri, takes strike 1 down the middle from D'Amico. And what looked like a nice start to this inning for D'Amico just turned into an all-out obliteration of the bottom of the 1st inning for this defense. Little's going to put a slap shot to shortstop. Graham gloves it. It's going to fire it over to second base. Not in time. Griffith gets in, and both runners are safe and advance 90 feet.
Tenderloins really showing off their speed once again, and this time it's the catcher, Parker Griffith, really showing off the wheels. Deep ball in the hole, able to get to second before Graham's able to fire it over to Lahaski at second.
Bringing up Logan Miller to the plate for the Tenderloins. Another opportunity to bring in a run. Miller's going to put a slap into right field. Goes foul for strike 1, but once again, the Tenderloins are just not afraid to swing on D'Amico. D'Amico's giving him some pitches to hit, and they're doing just that, and that is a reason why they've been able to plate 4 runs on 3 hits here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Logan Miller, another kid out of St. Joe, on 0-1. Off-speed pitch taken for strike 2, and another 0-2 count here for the Tenderloins to deal with off D'Amico.
And D'Amico, he's been in a lot of these counts ahead. It's just been, he hasn't been able to put away these Tenderloin hitters. Needs to make better 1-2 and 0-2 pitches.
That 0-2 pitch taken outside for ball 1 on Logan Miller. Still 2 outs here in the bottom of the 1st. Runners on 1st and 2nd for the Tenderloins. Griffith on 2nd. Little on 1st. Fouled once again sharply into the Tenderloins dugout. Off of the bat of Miller. Keeps the count at 1-2. Miller went 0 for 2 yesterday, but 2 runs on 1 walk and 1 stolen base. 1-2 to Miller. Ball chopped over to second base. Fielded cleanly by Lahaski in time for the much-needed 3rd out for the Monarchs, but the Tenderloins get 4 runs in the bottom of the 1st inning off of 2 errors and 3 hits. But we'll head to the 2nd inning. You're watching Mustangs baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium off of the 4-run bottom of the first inning for the Tenderloins. And leading it off here for the Monarchs, Will Dyberg. And we'll get a quick look at the defensive lineup for the Tenderloins. Gall in left, Likert at center, Logan Miller in left, George at first, second base Jack Mosh, shortstop Chris Coy, third base Dom Felix, Parker Griffith the catching, and Jaden Little at the designated hitter, and Sam Pitts pitching tonight. First pitch, strike one to Dybog. Pitts fires, that's going to be slapped into right field. That ball is going to get down. Dyberg on his high horse is going to be held at first base with a single, but a quick no-out hit for the Monarchs. Dyberg doing a good job taking that outside pitch into right field, and the Monarchs a quick base runner. Bringing up Kyle Ford up to bat next for the Monarchs. First pitch from Pitts. Outside, taken for strike one. This looks like the first appearance for Kyle Ford this season, so the Monarchs haven't gotten much looks with him. We'll have to see if he can make an impact here in the top of the second inning with Dyberg on first. Pitts 0-1. Another pitch outside, taken for strike two. Back-to-back outside pitches on the outer half of the plate. And Pitts has got Ford quickly at 0-2.
That was a great changeup there from Pitts. Really dives away from those right-hand hitters. And he'll use that effectively to really set up after the fastball, show that changeup, really get these hitters guessing.
Ford swung and miss. Another strikeout for Pitts. That'll be his second of the day. One out here for the Tenderloins. Up next for the Monarchs, number 23, Ty White. The right fielder for the Monarchs. Dyberg still on first with one out, so a double play opportunity for the Tenderloins. And a lefty-lefty matchup for Sam Pitts. First pitch. Off speed up high, taken for ball one. Off the races goes Dyberg, but fouled straight back off the bat of White, so that'll keep Dyberg at first. But now Griffith has got to look, see if he wants to test Dyberg going to second.
One of those things the Monarchs should maybe try the Mustangs to beat him at their own game, but especially with a lefty, it's going off first move, it's so hard because those lefties can react and easily pick off. Pitts is going to have to mix up his looks a little bit, maybe show off his pick move.
Off speed on the outside half the plate. Strike two called. A nice off speed there by Pitts. Now Ty White at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's what makes lefties so tough against lefty hitters, just because that breaking pitch starts at you but then cuts all the way across the plate. Really gives you little time to react.
Up high, taken, evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Pitts. Go to mention, I mean, he's done a great job at mixing those pitches like you mentioned at the start of the game, and how he is super good with his craft and how he can keep these Monarchs kind of guessing in their footprints there on the batter's box. Now Ty White, 2 balls, 2 strikes from Pitts. Off speed once again, swung on and missed, and back-to-back strikeouts for Sam Pitts here, and 2 outs now in the top of the second for the Tenderloins. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game.
And again, sometimes even if you see that breaking ball as a lefty, it's just so hard hit. That's a great tight slider from Pitts. Just starts on that inner third, breaks all the way across the plate. Really tough to hit. And especially against those lefty hitters, it's going to be a pitch Pitts will look to utilize.
Cam Messerschmidt up next for the Monarchs. Off back-to-back strikeouts from Pitts outside for ball 1. Dyberg still at first. Attempted to steal once. We're going to see if he wants to do it here in this at-bat. Pitts fires. Off speed up high once again. 2 straight balls to Messerschmidt. the only hitters counts we've seen start out here. 2 balls, no strikes to Messerschmidt. Trying to keep the line moving for the Monarchs here in the top of the second. Pitts on 2-0, fires. Messerschmidt fouls it off the inside of the bat. It's a strike on the board for Pitts. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the second for Sam Pitts, who's pitching an excellent first half of the game. He fires. Off speed, Messerschmidt puts a nice drive. Fouls off some fans out on the porch, but just draws foul, evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes on Messerschmidt.
It's going to have to be careful. That's the breaking pitch that Pena crushed for a homer in the first inning. Messerschmidt was on it again, but again, just a little out in front. Like to see Pitts go back with that fastball away, maybe that changeup away. Don't want to go back to that breaking ball. Messerschmidt has hit it hard a couple times in this AB.
The 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and that's going to be blooped up to second base on the ground. Puts the tag on. Misses the tag, but in time at first base is Lahaski. And Pitts gets 3 straight out after giving up the no-out single and holds the Monarchs to no runs. Tenderloin still leading 4-1. We're going to the bottom of the second inning. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back to Phil Welch Stadium. Leading it off this inning, Frank Gall. Back to the top of the order go the Monarchs, and it's trivia time here for Noah Cameron night. Noah Cameron was drafted by the Kansas City Royals in which round of the MLB draft? And so during this at-bat, we're going to let you guys think about that, and we'll come back with the answer. Steve D'Amico high and up for ball 1 on Frank Gall. 1-0 pitch from D'Amico. Ball swung on by Gall, puts a deep drive into right field. That one just didn't have enough juice, and taken in by Ty White for the first out of the inning.
Second baseman, Jack Mosh.
Jack Mosh up to bat next for the Tenderloins. Lined out to left field his previous at-bat, and 1 quick out here for the Tenderloins. Moss trying to keep it open. D'Amico fires, ball swung on into deep right field once again. Trailing on it is White. White ends up with the catch, and 2 quick outs caught by Ty White for the Tenderloins.
This is the kind of inning D'Amico wanted, coming out after a rough first inning where his defense necessarily didn't play behind him, but now coming out getting 2 quick outs really can not only boost D'Amico's confidence in the mound, but also boost those defenders out playing behind him.
Up next for the Tenderloins, Braden Likert. Outside pitch taken for strike 1. D'Amico on 0-1. Fires to Likert. Outside once again, 2 straight strikes for D'Amico, and that confidence you were just talking about, Truman, is appearing a little bit here in the later half of the bottom of the 2nd inning. D'Amico, no balls, 2 strikes to Likert. Down low, picked for ball 1. 1-2 on Likert. D'Amico on 1-2 fires. Slapped into center field. Johan trailing on it and brings it in. 1, 2, 3 goes D'Amico, puts his hands in the air. No runs, no hits for the Tenderloins. We're headed to the top of the 3rd inning here. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube, and don't go anywhere. We'll bring us those answers for the trivia question we just asked. We'll be back here for the top of the 3rd inning here on YouTube. And welcome back to Tenderloins Baseball here on YouTube. We're looking at some weather. Truman, you want to give us a little bit of a weather track here?
Yeah, beautiful weather again. You know, late May, you'd think in Missouri it'd be 90 degrees, but it's a beautiful 75 and sunny. Will continue to stay that way. Sunset about 8:40 p.m. Temperature will slowly drop into the 70s and then upper 60s, but just great weather for another day of Tenderloin baseball.
A beautiful Friday night here, bringing us to the top of the 3rd inning. Drew Thorson, the designated hitter here for the Monarchs. Sam Pitts still out on the mound after pitching 2 amazing innings, only giving up 1 run on 2 hits. 1-0 to Thorson. Pitts fires, swung on and missed for strike 1. Evens the count up at 1-1 strikes. And still Pitts using a good mix of that fastball to off-speed ratio here. Well in the 3rd inning. It's the delivery. Inside, taken for strike 2. Just clipped that outer inside part of the plate. Thorson in protect mode here against Pitts. Off speed, ball chopped on the ground. Coming in quickly is Lahaski. He's gonna flip it to first. In time for out number 1. And a nice play by Lahaski at second base for the first out for the Tenderloins. That is Mosh. My apologies, everyone, at second base. A nice play, Truman, there by Jack Mosh.
Yeah, Mosh playing deep. That ball wasn't hit very hard. It was a well-executed breaking ball from Pitts. Pitts tried to go over and grab it. Then Mosh coming in, got a great shot. Going with that glove flip. You know, you don't have to go with that every time, but sometimes, you know, you get to show off that glove flip. And then a great stretch at first base by George.
Justin George really doing a good job. Ball slapped to short, taken in by Coy in time. And back-to-back infield putouts for the Tenderloins. Get 2 quick outs once again for Sam Pitts. That'll bring up Alex Lahaski. 2 outs, the lefty-lefty matchup once again for Sam Pitts. Trying to go 1-2-3 here in the top of the third. Strike one to Lahaske from Pitts. You know, Pitts' control here in these first 3 innings have been pretty flawless, wouldn't you say, Truman? He's been so composed, trusting his defense behind him, and that's all you can ask for the Tenderloins.
And really, outside of the one mistake pitch to Pena, he's really, like you said, he's been executing his pitches well. Great pitch sequencing, really keeping these Monarch hitters on their toes, and also playing using his defense behind him. He hasn't struck everyone out, and his defense has played well behind him.
Off speed, swung on and missed for strike 2. And Pitts still working quick on these Monarchs. 2 outs here in the top of the third. The 1-2 delivery. Ball slapped into left field. That ball is up, and it is going to get foul. Nice diving effort by Miller out in left field. Count remains still 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lahaske. Lahaske struck out swinging against Pitts back in the first inning. Pitts looking to do the same thing here to end out a nice top of the third. The 1-2 delivery outside. Ball 2 evens the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two. Outside, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitts trying not to lose Lahaske here with 2 outs. Count full at 3-2. Pitts delivers. Taken for ball 4, and Pitts doesn't like the call on that. But the Monarchs get a base runner late here in the top of the third with a walk to Lahaske.
Just one of those pitches that, like I said, Pitts thought it nicked the bottom of the zone, but sometimes, you know, it doesn't go your way. And that's the thing on Wednesday that the Mustangs, Tenderloins pitchers were able to limit was those free passes. You know, just a few hit by pitches, but really no walks.
Roberto Pena up to bat. That 1 run came from a solo shot, a 2-out bomb from Pena over the left field wall. It's 2 outs once again here in the top of the third. Pitts gets a quick strike on him, delivers. Swung on and missed, 2 quick strikes for Pitts on Pena. Looking for a little revenge here off of the first inning home run. No balls, 2 strikes to Pena. Ball swung on, hit into right field, kind of bringing in, and that'll go foul. Count remains at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Gilberto Pena. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Pitch sets and fires. Up high, taken for ball 1.
This is the scenario. Pitts had Pena down in the first inning, had him with 2 strikes. Pena was able to work the count, was able to get a mistake pitch. Pitts just needs to be careful of that inside. I like to see him work more that outside part of the plate. Stay away from Pena's barrel.
Pitts puts it outside. It's going to trail into left field, but hangs just in time for Miller to make the catch for the 3rd out. No runs in the top of the 3rd inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the 3rd. No runs for the Monarchs. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. Leading it off here in the bottom of the third inning for the Tenderloins is Dom Felix. Felix ended up scoring after getting hit by the pitch. His first inning at bat. D'Amico still on the mound for the Monarchs. First pitch to Felix. Felix swings and misses. Heavy swing there, no balls, 1 strikes to Felix. D'Amico, ball slapped over to the first base side. Messenschmidt giving a look, but that'll go out of play. For a foul ball, bringing the count to no balls, 2 strikes on Dom Felix pretty early. Once again, Truman, another quick no ball, 2 strike count for D'Amico.
Did a great job in the second inning of putting these Tenderloin hitters away. Just got to make good pitches. These Tenderloin hitters are going to continue to foul off pitches, make them work. D'Amico's got to be able to tempt them with a pitch in the dirt or something up high. Just avoid those long counts where he's more susceptible to make a mistake.
Felix puts a nice drive into left field. That's going to get over the head of Dyberg. Felix is going to round first. Outfield still trying to get a hand on it. Felix isn't stopping at 2. He's going all the way to 3. Throws not in time. Felix into third with a no-out triple for the Tenderloins.
Went with the fastball too many times, did D'Amico. And that time, a rip by Felix, just able to get his barrel out in front, kept his hands inside. And that ball had so much backspin that ball just kept rising and rising. Dryberg thought that was coming in. It was way over his head.
Dryberg making a good effort on it. Brings up Justin George with Felix on third. D'Amico fires, fouled off by George. Both Felix and George, both from Arizona. Justin George from William Jewell down in Liberty, Missouri, just down the road here. It's a good opportunity to bring yet another run in for the Tenderloins, just 90 feet away. D'Amico on 0-1 to George. Righty-righty matchup. Delivers. George is going to slap one down the right field side, and that's going to trail foul. Once again, a no-ball, 2-strike count on these Tenderloin hitters. D'Amico still just trying to settle in here. The 0-2 pitch. George is going to slap it down the first base side, foul once again. Keeping this at-bat alive against D'Amico. Like you've been mentioning, Truman, D'Amico not afraid to keep it in the zone on those 2-strike counts. Going after these Tenderloin hitters. No balls, 2 strikes to George. Outside for ball 1. D'Amico on 1-2. George is going to slap it into right field. In time is White. Here comes Felix, 90 feet away. Throw in, not on line, and Dom Felix scores from third on the sacrifice fly from Justin George.
Just an unselfish at-bat there from George. Not trying to do too much, just doing what's right for the team. Puts the ball deep in the outfield, deep enough that Felix is able to come home and score.
Like you mentioned, unselfish. You love to have players like that on your team who aren't looking to boost their stats, trying to put balls in gaps, but just trying to get the ball in play, especially in the outfield. Bringing home yet another Tenderloin run. They lead it 5-1. Chris Coy up for the Tenderloins. A quick strike brings the count up to 1-1. Coy reached on an E6 and ended up scoring after stealing second base. Swung on strike 2 on the St. Joseph kid with 1 out. Swung on and missed strike 3, and D'Amico gets his first strikeout of the day on Chris Coy.
That's a pitch I'm surprised D'Amico hasn't brought out more. That was a nasty slider that just cut away from Coy. Nothing Coy could do about it. You know, that old saying, he couldn't even hit that with an oar. But I mean, a great pitch, and again, just surprised we haven't seen that more from D'Amico as kind of his put away pitch.
Parker Griffith up next for the Tenderloins. 2 outs here. Outside, just misses that paint for ball 1 on Griffith. Griffith, single back in the first. Fouled off, back behind, evens the count up at 1-1. An impressive day yesterday at the plate, 1 for 4, but with an RBI on 1 walk as well. So Griffith didn't get many games last year with the Mustangs, but making a quick impact here in his 2025 campaign. 1-1 down low in the dirt, taken for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike to Parker Griffith. Goes sets and fires. Griffith fouls it off on the first base side. Evens the count up at 2-2. Steps off. Tenderloins 5 runs on 3 hits, 3 errors on the Monarchs. Nico fires on 2-2. Outside, we're full at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. On Parker Griffith. Full count, Miko fires. Swung on, popped up to second base into the first base side. Lahaske calls off Messenschmidt. And the 3rd out brought in by Lahaske. D'Amico gives up 1 run on the sacrifice fly. 5-1. Your Tenderloins lead it. We'll be back with the top of the 4th here on Mustangs YouTube. And welcome back to Phil Welch Stadium. A little bit earlier of an entrance for us, but for trivia time from the question we asked a couple of innings ago, Noah Cameron was drafted by the Kansas City Royals in which round of the MLB draft? Truman, do you want to give the answer to these people?
Yeah, you know, that's kind of now that's 2021 class that a lot of those guys have made their debuts, and indeed, if you guessed B, it was the 7th round, 198th overall selection to the Kansas City Royals. Finally got to make his major league debut.
Back in late April, April 30th against the Tampa Bay Rays, a shutout through 6 1/3. Noah Cameron, what an appearances that he's been making with the Royals, and a steal of the draft in 2021. The kid out of St. Joe getting honored tonight here at Phil Welch Stadium. It's Noah Cameron night as well as Tenderloin night, and in the top of the 4th, the Tenderloins still lead at 5-1. Sam Pitt still on the mound, breaking ball to Darryl Graham for strike 1. Pitt's on 0-1. Swung on and fouled off the ground at home plate by Graham. Quickly 0-2 for Pitts. Pitts on 0-2 to Graham. Off speed, fouled straight back, keeping the count alive is Graham. Graham singled back in the top of the second inning. Ended up being held at first for the rest of the inning. No outs, trying to get something started and a little rally going for the Monarchs, being down 4 runs. 0-2 from Pitts. Sets and fires. Outside, looks at it for strike 3, and another strikeout for Sam Pitts for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
That's really the difference we've seen between Pitts and D'Amico for the Tenderloins and the Monarchs. Is just Pitts has been able to put away hitters when he's gotten 2 strikes on him, something that D'Amico struggled with so far through this game.
Backwards K for Pitts on Graham. First pitch inside, getting close to Will Dyberg. Dyberg singled back in the top of the second. Pitts fires on 1-0. Inside once again. 2 straight balls to Dyberg. 2 balls, no strikes to Dyberg. Pitts sets and delivers. Off speed, inside once again, and quickly 3-0 to Dyberg, who was looking to steal last time he was on base, so definitely not a guy that the Tenderloins want to give a base to so easily for the Monarchs.
It's been one of the few times Pitts has been down in the count. Much of tonight he's been getting ahead of a lot of hitters. He's got to fight his way back in this count now.
There he goes, fighting back, strike 1. Another off speed, a little change up inside. Brings the count to 3 balls, 1 strike to Dyberg. Pitts sets and fires. Up high, and Dyberg takes the 3-1 pitch for a walk, and the Monarchs get a speedy base runner on first base. Bringing up Kyle Ford.
Brings the plate catcher, Kyle Ford.
Dyberg looked to steal back in the top of the second. Didn't end up stealing. Here after 2 straight strikeouts in the top of the second from Pitts. And then a ground out to Mosh would end that inning, keeping Dyberg on first. But we'll look to see, down 4 runs, if the Monarchs are going to try and be a little bit more aggressive on the base paths.
Neither Griffith hasn't been tested behind the plate, and Pitts, I mean, he hasn't shown off his pickoff move. Something that, if he wants, he can bring it out if he feels threatened.
First pitch swung on and missed from Ford. 0-1 with 1 out. Pitch sets, delivers. Off speed up high. Griffith is going to pick back to first, keeping check on Dyberg, and he's in back safe. Griffith realized last time what happened, trying to make sure that Dyberg knows that he's ready for him. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. To Kyle Ford. Pitts fires. Swung on and missed once again. Strike 2. Pitts still doing a good job controlling these at-bats. When he can, 1 strikes to Kyle Ford. Dyberg a nice lead at first. Off speed. Goes down looking on strike 3. An off-speed pitch that broke just at the right time on Ford. Sends Kyle Ford back to the dugout. And another backwards K of the inning for Mr. Sam Pitts.
Again, just great pitch sequencing, getting in the head of Ford right there. Ford was looking fastball, and curveball goes right by him, and he's got to go.
It's lefty-lefty matchup on Ty White. First pitch, and that's going to clip Ty White on the outer part of his arm, and that'll put base runners at second and first for the Monarchs.
Now batting first baseman,
Again, just an unfortunate release. Misses to the arm side a little bit. Was trying to work that inside corner to the lefty, White, and just again ran too far inside. And that is the risk you take pitching lefty to lefty, trying to pitch inside. That ball might, run a little bit more than you want it to.
Messerschmidt grounded out to second back in the top of the second. Outside pitch. Taken for ball one. Messerschmidt had a good inside take. He took it down the left field line, just trailed foul. See if Pitts wants to try and stay away from that inside part. Attacks it, and it's going to miss. 2 balls, no strikes to Cam Messerschmidt.
These are the at-bats that Pitts doesn't want to fall behind in counts. Runners in scoring position, runners on. He does have 2 outs. Really just needs to go after Messerschmidt right here. Doesn't need to be too cute and risk walking him to load the bases.
Pitts fires on 2-0, and that'll go down in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes to Messerschmidt. For Pitts, 2 outs, loading the bases. Not in the cards for the Tenderloins. The 3-0 pitch outside. He's going to clip it for strike 1. He did strike 1 there for Sam Pitts. The 3-1 pitch. Off-speed pitch, checked by Messerschmidt, but ended up hitting the zone anyway. We're evened up at 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the 4th.
Get another batter for the Monarchs that wants nothing to do with that Sam Pitts breaking ball, and Pitts hasn't used it a lot, maybe once, maybe twice in at bat, but right now Monarchs aren't looking for it, and it's backfiring on them.
The 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled off the tip. Will keep this at bat alive at 3 balls and 2 strikes. A nice off-speed attack there by Pitts. A little bit of a riskier option to a guy like Messerschmidt, who likes those inside off speeds but wanting to test them. We're still full at 3-2 with 2 outs. Pitts sets and fires. Inside and walks Messerschmidt, and that'll load the bases for the Monarchs with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And Pitts is going to get a talk. Manager Johnny Coy about how he can try and get out of this jam with the bases loaded, Truman.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you could deal with the bases loaded if teams are just getting hits. It's just one of those things, but it's been 3 free passes in this inning. It was a walk, now a hit by pitch, now another walk. And with 2 outs, I'd assume the conversation is, hey guys, you got to force it any base, but also just talking about Pitts, just be confident in your stuff. Get the 9-hole right here. Don't allow the lineup to flip over towards that top line. Go after him right here. Use that breaking pitch to its effectiveness, but then really, just keep pitching within himself. I feel like Pitts this inning has gotten a little outside of himself, really trying to pitch too hard. Just trying to be a little too confident in his stuff, and his stuff has been good tonight, but I feel like this inning just run into also the Monarchs, been a little bit more patient. But, as this game goes on, the Monarchs are going to learn, but also Pitts is going to learn, what pitches and what counts to throw.
Time called by the umpire. Give a look, but like you mentioned right now for Pitts after that talk, it's just about regaining some of that composure. The stamina's still there. He's still throwing excellent pitches, working the counts well, but just losing some of these at-bats have given these Monarchs a loaded bases opportunity for Drew Thorson, who's up. And he's going to put a deep drive into left field. That ball is hit far, deep. It is gone! A 2-out grand slam for Drew Thorson is going to tie this game at 5 runs apiece. Drew Thorson silences this crowd.
Again, that's the danger you face. You allow 3 free passes to get on, and then after the mound visit, it's a great job by Thorson, just recognizing that, hey, Pitts is probably going to throw me a really good pitch to hit, and he jumped on it. Again, that's what free passes will do to you. That's 4 runs on just 1 hit. And it's just a tough, tough inning for Pitts.
It is, just to mention that. Pitts just trying to regain that composure like I mentioned. That off-speed pitch that Pena ended up driving in the same exact spot. Thorson caught it and took it over, and we're tied at 5. Quickly 0-2 to Morgan Johan. The 0-2 pitch from Pitts. Swung on into right field. That one's hit high, but just shallow enough for Frank Gall to make the catch to get us to the end of the top of the 4th. But 4 runs on a grand slam by Drew Thorson tie this game at 5 apiece. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. Welcome back to Phil Welch Stadium, the bottom of the 4th inning, leaded off by Jaden Little. Off of the 4-run top of the 4th inning from the Kansas City Monarchs, off of the grand slam of Drew Thorson. Tenderloins looking to come back after that deficit there. D'Amico still on the mound, goes outside on Little and gets strike 1.
This is where the Tenderloins are going to be tested. You know, they really got punched in the mouth in that top of the inning. Now this game, it's a brand new ball game here, and it's really, what are the Tenderloins made of, especially this early in the season, seeing how much, skin, how much hair is on the top of each of their heads.
All in the dirt, taken for ball 1. 1-2 to Jaden Little. Tenderloins, like you mentioned, just got to take every opportunity that they see. 1-2, that's going to be slapped. That's going to be into foul territory. Messerschmidt making a move on, and he's going to get it for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th. A tough play to make coming off that first base side. Messerschmidt did a good job keeping it out of the lights, bringing it in for the first out. Logan Miller up next for the Tenderloins. Last time up in the bottom of the 1st inning, grounded out to second base. Looking to keep it going for the Tenderloins here in the bottom of the 4th. D'Amico fires. Outside. Takes it for strike 1. Oh, 1 to Miller. Back-to-back strikes. Miller doesn't like the calls from the blue. It is quickly 0-2 on Logan Miller with 1 out. D'Amico fires. Down low, taking ball 1. Miller trying to work the zone here from D'Amico. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, that's chopped. That's drailing into center field. Brought in by Graham, the shortstop, called off Lahaske. And 2 quick outs here for the Monarchs.
D'Amico's really starting to find his groove now here, and he's really got the Tenderloins eating out of his hand, really has them guessing now, and some, again, just soft, weak-induced contact really benefited D'Amico here after that rough first inning.
2 outs now brings up Frank Gall from Missouri Western. Gall today 0 for 2. Lined out to center field his last at-bat. Lined out to right field his last at bat. Count 1-1 to Gall. Nico sets and fires. Gall's going to put a swing out into the center right field gap, and it is going to be caught by Ty White in right field, who was trailing in on the ball. That looked like it was going to clip the gap. But 3 straight outs, 1, 2, 3 goes Steve D'Amico. The Tenderloins are remained scoreless and hitless in the bottom of the 4th inning. We're headed to the top of the 5th inning. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. The Tenderloins held scoreless and hitless in the bottom of the 4th inning, but in the top of the 5th, a pitching change for the Tenderloins. Same last name, different first. Max Pitts now pitching for your St. Joseph Tenderloins. First appearance of the season for Pitts.
Yeah, and Pitts, a guy who didn't play with the Mustangs last summer and then redshirted this year at Coach High's Community College. So really the first action he's getting in a game in a long while.
Hoskey lines out in left field. Logan Miller makes a nice running catch down low and a quick first out and first pitch for Max Pitts.
That's always something you want to do as the first bullpen arm coming in to the game. You want to just get ahead, make some good pitches, but also get quick outs and really get comfortable quickly. And it's a hard hit ball, but Pitts will take the out.
Sure will. Gilberto Pena, power threat here, coming to the batter's circle with 1 out for the Monarchs. Pena up high is going to take strike 1 from Pitts. Max Pitts delivers. Outside, taking strike 2. He's got Pena quickly. No balls, 2 strikes. Pena's in protect mode now against the young gun Max Pitts. Pitts on 0-2. Delivers. Outside in the ground, bounces up for ball 1. Attacked inside, goes back-to-back outside pitches on Pena, looking to see where Pena wants to give Pitts a problem at. Pitts, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pena. Swung on and missed. Strikeout for Max Pitts, his first of the game, and 2 quick outs for him and the Tenderloins.
Max Pitts, a little bit more velocity than Sam Pitts, and right there, just blew a fastball right by him. I think Pena maybe even sitting off speed to pitch he's hammered a couple times tonight. Brett, that one, he got his doors blown off. Got to catch up to that one.
Lots of velocity from the young gun. Strikes out Pena. Brings up Darryl Graham here. Ball's going to be chopped on the second base side. Nice sliding play by Mosh. In time at first. And what a sliding effort from Jack Mosh to go give Max Pitts a 1-2-3 outing out of the bullpen. And the Tenderloins don't allow a hit or a run in the top of the 5th inning. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're watching Tenderloin Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. Game still tied 5-5, and Jack Mosh leading it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. D'Amico goes outside, ball 1, evens it up at 1 ball, 1 strikes. Jack Mosh 0 for 2 here in today's game. Flew out to right field his last at bat. Mosh puts a swing into left field, that'll trail foul. D'Amico's still on the mound here for the Monarchs. They're liking this composure for him, keeping this game tied at 5. Keeping these Tenderloins off the base paths. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He was looking for the foul tip, but it was caught by the catcher in a quick strikeout for Steve D'Amico off Jack Mosh.
One of those right place, right times for Ford, able to hang on to that one. I don't think he caught it initially with his glove, but I think he was able to trap it. Get strike 3.
D'Amico a strikeout, brings up Braden Likert. Likert also 0 for 2 today, grounded out to second. Outside clips the outside part of the paint. Count evens up at 1-1. D'Amico fires. Ball tipped and fouled. Up, moved out of the way pretty quick. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Braden Likert. Likert 2 nights ago, 0 for 3, but 2 walks on his first game here in the 2025 campaign. Still looking for his first hit on the season. Likert out of Missouri Southern in Joplin, Missouri. Originally from St. Joseph here at home. The 1-2 pitch from D'Amico. Swung on and missed, and 2 strikeouts back-to-back for Steve D'Amico. And 2 quick outs for the Monarchs here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Really, D'Amico's starting to find his confidence. I mean, outside of the air-plagued first inning, D'Amico has been lights out. I mean, the 1 run in the 3rd, but he's really settled into a groove. These Mustangs hitters are really letting D'Amico dictate the pace. They're not trying to ambush anything like they were earlier in the game.
Dom Felix next up with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Strike 1, got the bat across the plate. 0-1, D'Amico. Slider catches outside. Evens the count up, 1 ball, 1 strikes. That actually did clip the outside part. It'll be 0-2 to Felix. Felix is going to put a high pop-up near the backside of the infield. That's going to be taken in by Graham. 1, 2, 3, once again goes D'Amico for the 2nd straight inning. So the Monarchs give up no hits, no runs to the Tenderloins. We are still tied at 5 going in.